What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Python test driven development. In the last video we started coding for our geek trust file, which is our main handler file. And what we did in the last branch was last video was we branched out from our normal develop file, and we are currently pretending to be another developer who is trying to um, implement geektrust.py on his own. And later on we will merge these two branches, develop and develop geektrust, into the main branch, right? So I went ahead and made a commit over here. I made a geektrust.py file and some guidelines as well. So let me just go through the code. As you can see, the develop geektrust branch is actually built upon the master branch, so it has no commits from the develop branch, right? It has only one commit. So later on, when we will merge these two branches, we will see what commits we have and what are the problems that we'll have, right? So without further ado, let me look at the code base. So in the code base I have created another guidelines. So why have I created another guideline? Because when we merge this with the other develop branch, what will happen is there will be a merge conflict, and we'll need to solve those merge conflicts as well, and that is what I want to show in this video. So now I hope this is recording, right? Yeah, cool. So now without further to do, let's look at the description. So we have data members as family tree, right? Geektrust is the main file which is supposed to have an object of the family tree, but the thing is there is no family tree because this particular developer has no idea what the family tree will be like. But the senior developers have given him or her enough instructions that the family tree will have add child, get relationship, and there is one more method which is add spouse, which has not been mentioned over here, right? So based on that, there will be three methods: add child, add spouse, and get relationships. That has been told. So he has been told create a family tree with add child, add spouse, and get relationship. These are the three methods that have been mentioned to him, and based on these he will create the geektrust class. The thing is, he only knows about these. So what he's going to do is, this will only return one value. It will only return something called add child, right? So he has also been given some cases, as in he'll get something like child addition failed, person not found, none. But he does not care about that because he does not know how things work there. So he only cares about this, and he will not even implement the whole thing. He will just you know uh, create a dummy thing which only returns one value, because he only needs to get the return values, and then he will just need to print those return values. So the return values will be given to him from say this will be mn, right? So these are, let's just say n r whatever. So he will have some fixed return values based on which he is going to work on, he or she. So the first method that he is going to get is translate, right? So the translate method takes in a file name, reads from the file, and returns the list of commands. So basically what will happen in translate is he gets add child, Pyali, Srutak, male. Okay, so mother's name is the first thing, child's name, and then gender, right? So he'll need to convert this to let's write it down. Convert add child mother name and gender. He will convert this to self dot family tree dot add child name gender and mother. This is what he will convert this to. This is the string that he'll convert this to, right? Then better yet, let me just write it like this. This will get converted like this. Then we have add spouse, which is again going to be spouse name and gender. This is going to get converted to this particular string, spouse name gender and then spouse, right? In case of King Shan and Queen Anga, as you can see, they have no mothers, right? So they are going to be added just like that. So in case of in such a case, what we will do is, instead of mother, we will just pass none over here, right? If we don't get a value. And in case of spouse, there cannot be none values. So if we don't have a spouse, we are not going to proceed. So then we have get relationship, and the values are going to be get relationship name and relationship, right? Sorry about that. Name and relationship. This is going to turn into family tree, get relationship name, then whatever relationship type we have, right? So basically I should say something like this will be name, the actual values will go here, gender, by the way, is it capital male or female? Capital F female, right? So gender, then mother, you get the point, right? This is what he'll convert to. Once he's converted each of them, he will put them in a list, and then he'll return the whole list from this method. The list goes into execute, right? What execute will do is call eval upon these. So if you don't know what eval is, let me show you guys what eval is. So what if I say 1 plus 1? It gives me 1 plus 1, right? Because that's a string. If it was 1 plus 1, that would give me 2, but this is a string, so this is what it prints. But what if I do eval? It gives me 2, right? So let me say something like eval is basically an evaluator of the string expression, converts it. I mean, like, you can think of it like removing the quotation marks, that's and evaluating the whole expression. So if I say something like integer 5.4 should give me 5, right? But what if it's in a string format? I get this. So if I do an eval, I'll get 5, right? So you get the point. So what will happen is all of these methods will these will be strings, and these strings will get evaluated by the execute method, and later on we'll log them out, which is basically printing. Then we have a setup method as well. So what does the setup method do? You already know we need to create this entire tree, right? So we need to have a list of commands with King Shan added first, then Queen Anga added as a spouse, then add child for these, right? And then we'll add spouse for Chit and all that. So that is basically the setup, right? So that setup is not supposed to be printed. And so what setup will do is call translate and execute the result so that the family tree is updated. And then later on, when we again whatever file we get from the command line, that will again going to translate, execute, and this time log will be printed, right? So setup, what will happen is each time we get a file name, first setup will be called, translate will be called with our setup file, then execute will be called, and then translate will be called with our argument file, which is the file name we received from the terminal command line, and execute will be called, and then we will log it. So that's pretty much it, guys. So let us get coding. So in our test, in unit test, we are going to create test geek trust.py, right? So from unit test, import test case. So since this unit test uses a lot of mocks, import patch. This is all we're going to import for now. And what he's going to do is he's going to create a dummy class over here called family tree, and that class is just going to have a self.family tree, which is going to be a dictionary. It's going to have add spouse, which is just going to return child addition succeeded. And then add what is it called, add child, sorry, this is add child. This is going to be add spouse, right? Return spouse addition succeeded and get relationship, and this will give him some mn. Better yet, let's just say this will give him none, right? So these are the three methods he knows the family tree has. Based on this, he will create a class called geek trust, right? The main class. This is going to have self.family tree as well, but this is going to be the object of the family tree. And now we can start writing our tests. So our test will basically be test geek trust. This is going to inherit test case. Init self, oh sorry, my bad, that's not init. Let's just say this is set up, and let's say self.geek trust app equals to, and we're going to import geek trust since that is what we're testing here. From geek trust import geek trust, right? So we're going to use geek trust, and the first test that we're going to do is test translate. Now what does the translate file expect? Translate basically expects a file name, right? It actually expects a file name and it opens that file. Now guys, I want you guys to basically remember something, and it's just that here we are not testing any other method, right? The whole idea of a unit test is to mock things out. So that's what we're going to do. we are basically going to mock the open function, right? Patch open, and actually we can't do uh, patch open like that. So we are going to have to work with context managers, right? Because if you remember, this is how open works. We can use open like a normal function. I mean, f equals to open and then as some read, we can do that, but we don't really do that in Python, right? We use context managers. So what we do is we need to test how context managers work, and we need to mock how context managers work. So what we are going to do is so actually I don't remember that at the top of my head. So let me just look at an old resource that I made on GitHub, where I did a lot of research and then finally came up with a, let's go over here, and I finally came up with a solution for that. So I'm not going to look all of that again. By the way, Zim95 is my GitHub name. So guys, if you guys use GitHub, please do follow me. And where did I have tests for this? In unit. Yes, it was in test. Okay, it was not here. Maybe I used it here. Okay, not here. Alright. Okay guys, I don't think I have the code over here. So what I'm going to do is, guys, I'll just do a bit of research on the context manager thing, and for that what we are going to do is with patch target, that's going to be the open method. So I think we have no choice but to actually do some research on mocking open Python, right? Do I mock it? And we're going to find yep, yeah, that's how we use this, I guess. So with open, and the open name would be the name would be something like mock open as well. Okay, that's going to be patch, and it's going to be the name and open. So the name would basically be main, so we're going to say main dot open. If you guys don't know, main is alright because we are importing geek trust, so it's going to be something else. Right. So we're going to say dot format name, and we're going to say create true because this is automatically going to create a mock object as mock open, and mock open dot return value will be a magic mock, which we are going to import from mock, right? And spec equals file. So by the way, I think file is basically the name that we're looking for. So the name that we're looking for is going to be settings.py. Settings dot not settings.py, it's going to be setup dot commands dot list. Let's just call it that, right? And now we can actually try and use this. We're going to say mock open dot return value is equal to magic mock setup files dot list. Okay, so let's just test that out quickly. So we're gonna have something like def translate. We're going to call this translate self, right? And this is going to expect a file name, and this is going to with open the file name with read as fr, and it's going to fr dot read lines, and we're going to have lines over here. Let's just call them instructions over here, right? Let us use a pdb to see what exactly we have for mock. So okay, there's a error. Oh, instructions, right. So we'll just use our old unit test method, and we'll get a pdb over there. Okay, that's because there's no test or name, right? It's underscore name. So we should have test geek trust over here, and I have no idea why that didn't work. Let's just say self.assert equal 1 equals to 1. Okay, that's weird. Python minus m. So we do have test translate. What could go wrong here? Okay, this is weird. Did I not call this test geek trust.py? This is test geek trust.py, and so is the unit folder test unit. And I am baffled as to why this is not working. I don't see why there should be a problem. We do have a geek trust class. So this is kind of weird, guys. So the setup itself takes in nothing. Is this called at all? No, it's not. It does have tests and it does have unit. So I don't see anything wrong here. I am in the same folder as well. I'm going to try something out, guys. Okay, I see a problem over here. Oh guys, this has not been detected as a... Oh, because I am... Shit. This is supposed to be there. I was in the PyCache folder all along, guys. So that's the problem. I was in the PyCache folder all along, guys. That is why. So don't save this. Probably delete this to trash. So I didn't need to do that really. I don't need to do this as well. So now I can finally have a PDB over here and see what the value of mock is. Okay. Why is it not importable? Oh, sorry, I am in the wrong directory. Let me move out over here. So what is open? It's a built-in function. Okay. So I guess I need to, I guess open is not mocked yet. So we're gonna have to make sure that this open has been mocked with patch, not name. Here, let me just print out the name over here. Because if that is something else, then yep, the name is test geek trust, so it's just mocking test geek trust.open, which is not supposed to happen, guys. And what we're going to do is we're not going to use this, rather we're going to use geek trust.open, right? Now let us see if open is now a mock. It is still this function. So what about test geek trust.open? I mean tests unit dot test geek trust.open. But no, it is still a mock, guys. So I guess I'll do some research on how to test mock the open function. What if I do this? is applied open. It's going to be built ins.open maybe, because that's what built in maybe built in dot open. Okay, so let me just look at this function that we have over here, right? Open is built in, right? So it is built in dot open. So it is supposed to be built in dot open. Hmm. 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 So actually this is how built-in dot open is supposed to work. So let me just do this first, and let me use patch over here. Alright, so I'm gonna say built in dot open. I'm gonna say this will be mock open. Now let us look at our no module named built in. How about built-ins? Okay, now finally guys, open is a mock, and open dot return value is just something that has been executed. So we're going to set up some return values over here. We're going to say, what if we say return value is mock open. So I think unit test.mock has something called mock open as well, right? So let us see, let's have a look at that. So it has something called enter with open as. That's a problem while working with context managers. So let me try this for now. Sorry for that. So we're going to try built-ins over here. Start open, create true and all that. Translate missing what position argument mock open. Yep, it is missing something, so we need enter now. So mock open dot return value is going to be, so let's just look at this, right? So let's just try and print out mock open. Let's see what happens. Okay. So there's going to be an file descriptor that's going to open with read lines and all that. So mock open is supposed to have those values. So let me quickly comment this out for now. Let me just say this is pass. So you see there's a problem with context managers, and in this you will also understand how test translate missing one value because I added mock open over here. So yep, that's a magic mock, and we can just have a look at what the values for mock open will be. And we have something, do we have read lines? Okay, we don't. So we're gonna say mock, do we have enter by any chance over here? Don't have enter. So mock open is going to be this thing, and let's just call geektrust_app.translate for now. We're gonna say some dummy file .txt, right? So we're going to have a pdb over here. To uncomment that and delete that, and now let us run that. And open is a mock. Open.return value is type open.enter what if I say open.return value is a file descriptor instead, right? Dot enter will give me the file descriptor. Dot return value will give me the file descriptor's value. This is going to be okay. What is fr, by the way? Fr is also magic mock. And fr dot, what about fr dot read lines? It's also a magic mock. And what if I say fr dot return read lines dot value is equal to 1 2 3, right? Then instructions will be okay. That exited quickly. So the instructions are supposed to be 1 2 3, guys, remember that. So let us try that out. We're gonna say mock open dot I'm gonna explain what these are in a bit. 1 2 3, and then when we call this, we're supposed to get the value of instructions will be some 1 2 3 values. So yeah, we're going to test that out, by the way. Yeah, so str object has no attribute read lines because fr is 1 2 3, right? So return value dot read lines dot return value, let's put this as 1 2 3. Now let us exit that and we do an open. Yep. So that's how we put values into mock, and our instructions are, so let me just tell you guys what just happened. First of all, I mocked built-in.open, right? That must be pretty simple. So once I mock built-in.open, what will happen is the open function has been mocked. But as you can see, mocking the open um, function is not enough, as when we mock the open function, we get a file descriptor. So we need to mock the file descriptor as well, right? So how do we do that? First of all, we mock this as mock open, right? Then we say mock open dot return value, which is a file descriptor, should have read lines whose return value should be this. So why did I use enter? Why did I use enter, right? Because that's how we go inside context managers. First of all, we mock the open value, then we get a return, then we get this as mock open. So now we have mock open as our file descriptor, right? So our file descriptor should have read lines, right? So what we do is, this file descriptor is basically a return value of this open function. So open function does not return you anything else other than a file descriptor, right? So now look at it this way. Mock open is the open's mock. Its return value is the file descriptor. The file descriptor does not have any methods because it has just been created, right? I mean, it is a mock, so mock does not have anything. So we create read lines, because if we do mock dot read lines, it will have a read lines value, which will again be a mock. So why do we do this enter? Because now the return value of our mock open is a file descriptor, and it enters into the context manager. So that's how we mimic entering into the context manager. So now we've entered into the context manager, and inside the context manager, the return value will again be the file descriptor. So you might say, well, fr is the return value of open, which is mock open dot return value, right? And now fr has been returned into inside the context manager, so that's where enter comes in. And then now whatever's inside the context manager, that is again a return value of entering inside the context manager. So that is basically this enters return value. Okay, that is basically this enters return value. So this is our file descriptor. Now fr is this particular value. So open, right, as fr, enter into the context manager, and inside the context manager, this is the fr. And we just said the read lines function for this fr, the return value for the read lines function of this fr is supposed to be 1 2 3, right? So we are going to change that. We are going to simply create, because now whatever file we pass, it does not even matter, right? So we are going to create three particular lines. We're going to create three particular lines in here. I hope you got that, guys. So the first line is going to be add child mother member male. The next is going to be add spouse member and female. It's going to be spouse as wife. Sorry about that. Female. And then we are going to have get relationship, right? And then member, and let's just have a relationship over here, which is not a valid relationship, but okay, no, let's have a valid relationship over here, right? So this is going to give us some result, and self dot assert equal result to be a list of commands, which is self dot family tree dot add child. It's going to have our name in it, which is member male mother, right? This is the first translation. Self dot family tree dot add spouse. It's going to be member, wife, female, and spouse, right? And then finally we're going to have another command, which is family tree dot get relationship, which is going to be member, and then we're supposed to have brother in law. Now guys, let us look at the guidelines one more time, right? The function does not return anything, fine. So translate converts it into these, but translate does not do it on its own. It calls construct get relationship method call, add spouse, and add child method call, and based on that these methods will actually construct the string, right? So we will mock these methods out, basically going to mock these methods out. So we're going to say geek trust dot geek trust dot what is it, let me get 19. It's going to be sorry about that guys, this is not where the mock should be. If you guys were wondering, then congratulations, you are understanding the whole thing. If you guys are cursing me by any chance, then congratulations. You guys are understanding the code, and I'm making a lot of silly mistakes, so right, and this is going to return value, this particular thing. So in unit test we are not really going to go in depth. We don't really test the actual code, rather we just mock things out and test if things have been correctly called or not, right? In the integration test we are actually going to see if these values are correct or not, and we are actually going to pass a proper value for we're going to pass a proper value for the integration test, or better yet, in the integration test we are going to pass a proper file name. So we're also going to patch, and instead of get relationship we're going to call add spouse, and the return value will be this particular thing. And finally, we're going to copy this and add child method call, right? So it's going to be add child method call, and the return value is going to be the first one over here. So this is going to be mock construct get relationship method call, because that's the first one. The next one is going to be mock construct add spouse method call, and the last one is going to be mock construct add child method call. So with that, we are basically going to make our test pass. So let us create all of those methods. Construct now let's look at what this expects. It's a name and a relationship type. Name and a relationship type, right? And this is just going to return 0 for now. It's not going to return anything useful. Forgive me for the long names. If you are from a Java background, this will possibly be the shortest name that you'll ever see. And that was supposed to be a joke. Sorry guys if that's not funny. I just don't I'm not from a Java background, for the simple fact that I don't really enjoy writing Java very much. Eventually Java is a very popular language, guys. If you guys know Java, you guys basically will have a lot of scope, because Java is used everywhere. It's in competitive programming, it's in software development, it's in app development, all areas. Any area you take, Java is there. So add spouse takes in name, gender and spouse name. But guys, just because a language is everywhere does not mean you have to learn it. I mean, for me, programming is supposed to be fun. If I don't enjoy programming, I pretty much would not do it at all. I won't really be coding at all. So for me, Java really sucks the fun out of programming. So please don't get offended, guys. I don't mean to disrespect any Java programmer over here. So it's taking in a mother name, right? Yeah, mother name. So name, gender and a mother name. This currently returns nothing. The instructions are like that, and based on these instructions it will need to switch. So switch construct method, right? So based on this looks ugly, let us just create this over here. And if it is an add child, we're going to call construct add child, right? If it is self.construct add child method call. If it is add spouse, we're gonna call self dot, oh man, self dot construct call. And then for get relationship, we are going to call get relationship method call, right? These are going to be the functions over here. And now comes the main part, guys. This is what translate is really used for. It's going to iterate over each instructions for instruction and instructions, right? If the instruction is an add child, it's going to first of all split it into tokens basically. So we're going to call it tokens. So instruction dot split, and this is going to split it into parts. And then so if it does have to switch between child and all, right? You know what? I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to pass it a string value. It's going to pass it. It's going to take in args. So again, guys, if you don't know args, I'm going to show it to you guys, and you guys will know what args is. Let's go into our IPython console. So let's just say sum, right? This is going to be the sum function, and say it has args. So what we're going to do is for item in, we're just going to return, first of all let me print args, right? So if I say sum 1, it's going to print 1 comma. So that's a tuple, guys. That's a tuple with only one value. That's what it looks like. If I say 1 comma 2, it's going to be 1 comma 2. So 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4, it's going to be 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4, right? So if I say I'll convert this to a list and then return the sum of things, and if I do sum now, I get nothing. Why is that? Oh, right, because I didn't return anything. So now if I do sum 1, I get 1. If I do sum 1 2 3 4, I get 10. So you see, args is basically you can pass n number of arguments there, anything. So that's what we are going to use here, right? So the first switch is going to be, so it's going to be switch constructor method. So the construct method is going to be switch construct method dot get, and the instructions will be in token 0, right? And if we don't get any value, we're going to return none. If not, construct method continue the loop, right? If we do have a construct method, then what we're going to do is we're going to say basically we get a construct method, right? So we're going to call the construct method, and again we're going to suppose, say we have a list of 1 2 and 3, right? Let's say this is x. So what if we do this? Okay, how do we expand a list? Let us look that up, guys. That's going to be a new thing. Expand a list in Python. So I guess there's no unpack, sorry. I mean unpack. Okay guys, I think we can do one thing. So sum of 1, 2, 3, 4 returns 10, right? What if 1, 2, 3, 4 was a list? Would it still return 10? I don't know. Yeah, it would not, right? So how would I really unpack a list over here? Star. Hmm. Unpack a list for args in Python. Also guys, this is how you should look up things. Okay, so we can basically unpack a tuple. Alright, so that's how it goes guys. We need to convert our list to a tuple. And then what we do is we unpack the tuple. Yep, that's how it goes. So construct method, we're going to unpack our tuple, and our tuple is going to be tokens 1 to all, because 0 is the main switch instruction, and whatever comes after comes from 1 to the rest of the tokens is the whole args is the whole list basically. So the construct method goes in here, right? So this basically returns 0 for now, and let's just test our unit test for now. It should pass because we have set return values for all of these methods, so we should get our test should pass basically. And it failed because none is not equal to self family tree add child m cars 136 cars w. So we got a none value. Why would that be? This is where we need to test, guys. So let us just import pdb here, and pdb would be set trace, right? So let us look at the instructions. Those are pretty clear. There are 3 values, right? Now let us look at the instruction. This is the instruction, and let us look at tokens. Yep, everything is fine. And now the construct method is a magic mock with a return value of, yeah, so the construct method is this particular method which has been mocked, and it's a magic mock, and what happens is this has a return value. Guys, We did not return anything. That is the whole problem, guys. Exit. So we are supposed to store these and some results. So results, these are the results that we're supposed to have, and we're going to results dot append result, and then we're going to return the results. Now our unit test should pass, guys. So that's that for you. So what we are going to do next is, we have an error somewhere around here. So now we are going to do our integration test inside the integration folder. We are going to create very own test geek trust.py integration folder. It's going to be the same as our unit test, except this time we're going to check for actual values. So we're not going to use these, and we're definitely not going to use these mock values, right? So we're going to check for actual values. So for that we will need to work with our thing. So this is going to return self.familytree.addChild dot format. The format will be args1 will be the name, because it's in this order, right? Mother, name, gender is what we get, and we need to convert that to name, gender, mother. So name, gender, mother, right? Here we're going to say family tree dot add spouse, and the same thing goes over here as well. Only the get relationship method will actually work. I mean, it's in the correct format. Right, so we're just going to use format over here. We're going to say args.0, which is the member name, and args.1. So get relationship, we have name and this is what we get, right? So this is correct, and our integration test over here should get all of these values properly if these are the values that have been passed. So our unit test passes. Integration test fails because sorry, that's only supposed to have two members over here. Yeah. Oh, right guys, right. So we are going to have to call them like strings, because these are the actual values that are supposed to be passed. Yeah, so now here is where we need to basically switch relationship And in the relationship we have some things like paternal aunt, right, which is going to get translated to paternal aunt. We have paternal uncle, going to get translated to paternal uncle. Maternal aunt, maternal aunt, maternal uncle, it's going to be maternal uncle. Then we have brother in law, brother in law, right? Then sister in law, it's going to be sister in law. Then we have son, which is son, daughter, which is daughter. Then we have siblings, which is going to be siblings, right? And the first name is this, and we are going to get switch relation. Okay, so first of all let me do this. Relationship is going to be so construct methods are supposed to return us strings. What happens when we eval an empty string? What happens when you eval an empty string? Get this. So what if we eval 0? What if we eval none? We get none? Yeah, we get none, right? So relationship type is going to be switch relationship dot get args dot 1. If we don't get anything, we're going to do none. If not relationship type, we're going to return none, so that gets evaled and things work our way. Yep, and things pass. So let's just test this out quickly. We're going to say, and let us say if the result is none, we do nothing. Okay, let's just check this out as well. Let's say is a list a dot append none is none. Okay, so we're going to have to be careful. What we're going to do is we're going to execute these functions and then have the result over here. If not result, we're going to continue. Otherwise we're going to append the result to results, right? So let's just have an integration test for that as well, because unit test having this does not make sense, right? So we're going to say we have get relationship and we're going to say random, right? So this should not still give us correct output. We still have none over here, guys. Okay, I returned the string because I thought that would get eval, but we will not eval anything. We just have yup. So there we have it, guys. That's it for this video. We will create tests for these methods separately, our unit tests and integration tests. So I think that was a pretty long video. That was 1 hour and 16 minutes long already. So that was a long video, but I keep all these things and I don't edit these things out so that you know exactly what mistakes I have made, what is my thought process, like the process of debugging and all that. So that's the whole reason why I don't shorten the videos. So hope you guys like that part, and without further to do, I think I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.